my name is Jamie Stalcup. I'm the Senior Associate Editor of TV Kids, and I have the pleasure of speaking with Chris and Shane Houghton, creators of Big City Greens. Hello to you both.
Hello, thanks for having us.
It's great to be speaking with you. It's been a big year for Big City Greens with the fourth season rolling out and the movie. Let's start by talking about season 4, which introduced a new dynamic with the families splitting their time between Big City and their farm. What led to that decision, and how has it opened up the storytelling opportunities?
Yeah. Oh man. Well, in season 3, we took the Greens from the city and moved them back to the country for a run of episodes. And at that point, we weren't sure if the series was going to continue on past season 3. Disney Channel kind of had a history of kind of 3 seasons, and that was it. So we were thrilled when we found out we were doing a 4th season. And we thought it was a really cool time to do so because we had just cracked open the world of Big City Greens by introducing this whole other country life with new neighbors and past history and just a different dynamic to be able to bring some of our city folks to the country and just have Cricket and Tilly try to straddle these two worlds, the city life and the country life that they're both so accustomed to at this point in the series. So for season 4, we just had a ton of opportunities to tell lots of different and new stories.
Yeah, definitely. We always wanted to take the Greens back to the country. And it always felt right for a show about a country family who's moving to the big city. At some point, you kind of want to see where they came from.
Right.
And so it was really cool to do that at the end of season 3. But like Shane said, season 4 was a way to really play with both worlds and figure out, what does the Greens life look like when they're able to move between the country and city. And also I'll just say, we've now written over 100 half hours of the series. So for any kind of long running TV series, it really helps to have new story generating engines built into your show, and expanding the world really just has been so fun from a storytelling standpoint to be able to expand and tell so many different and new types of stories.
Well, speaking of expanding and telling new types of stories, the movie, like the title suggests, takes the family into space, which is a fun change. Where did the inspiration come from for that storyline, and how does it complement or tie into the series itself?
Yeah, when it was actually Disney who first approached us, and they said, "Hey, the series is doing well. Would you guys be interested in doing a movie?" And which, of course, we just jumped at. We were so excited, but then immediately we're hit with the reality of what would that story be. And there was a few things we wanted to do with a movie if we were going to go down that road. We wanted to avoid the trap of basically, hey, we've got this opportunity to do a movie and let's just tell a big long episode. We wanted to tell a story that we really could not do in the series, both creatively, both from just a production standpoint. And Shane, it was really you that jumped at the idea of taking them to space. Do you want to talk on that?
Yeah, so we had brainstormed a couple of ideas, but I don't exactly know when it hit me. Honestly, I was thinking back to the roots of the series. Like you mentioned, the pilot episode was called Space Chicken, and Cricket moves to the city. He's trying to impress his new neighbors by launching a chicken into space. And so space and the fantastic idea of just what the cosmos holds has always been kind of baked into the DNA of the series. And the show is about this country family that moves to the city. They're fish out of water. They're very out of place. And so the deeper into the series we get, we're still looking for new ways to keep them out of place and to keep that fish out of water story going. And we were like, man, what is more out of place than taking this country family, blasting them into space and seeing how they fare, So it worked really well with like the core of the show. And from there, we just fleshed it out, and a lot of things kind of fell into place between the father and son story, and everybody kind of had something to do. We introduced some new characters like Commander Colleen Void. We had our Gwendolyn Zapp, our kind of crazy billionaire tech genius. And there's been a lot of inspiration pulled from that, just with like what's going on in the world, all these billionaires wanting to go to space. So it really kind of all started to come together once we landed on that initial space core concept. I think we had pitched it as National Lampoon's Family Vacation meets Armageddon. And there's just something really funny about that kind of mixture of like this family road trip, but in space.
And the movie is also a musical. You've had some Big City Greens musical tie-ins before with the OK Karaoke episode, and the characters have made some appearances in Broken Karaoke, but a whole musical film is a big undertaking. What went into the decision to make it a musical, and what was it like to craft a script that incorporates music into such a large part of it?
We love musicals on the crew. Shane and I, we were in theater all throughout high school and have always been fans of Broadway, and a lot of the crew is as well. So, like you pointed out, we've slowly incorporated more and more music into the show, and that's been really fun. And I think it's also given us the confidence to take this big leap into the movie. And really with the movie, it wasn't like a big decision whether or not there should be songs or not. It just felt right. And we thought it'd be a lot of fun. Our secret weapon is our composer, Joachim Horsley, who we've worked really closely with ever since the pilot. So for many years. And it was so cool to work with him on these songs for the movie, to work with the writers and craft what ended up being these massive songs. I mean, we ended up going down to Sony and recording this massive orchestra, and it was such an amazing experience for all of us because, you know, we started as a very small TV series and a small crew, and many of us have worked together since day one. And so here we are 8 years into production working on this massive movie. It really it felt right. It felt like we were kind of growing up with the Greens, you know, this small family in a big city. I don't know. I think there's some themes that we can relate to just in terms of our own production and crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shane, what do you think of the songs in the movie? Did
I mean,
you like the songs in the movie?
do I have what?
Did you have fun?
Did I did I have fun? I
You had
did.
fun.
You know what? They're bangers. You know, they're
They
fun.
really are.
They are.
When it came to writing these songs, they say in musicals, it's like a character should break into song whenever the emotions are too big. They are compelled to burst into song. And so when you look at the movie, like structurally, all these kind of big moments have musical numbers tied around them. Obviously, like the opening, we knew we had to do a big opening number at the very top because it kind of it sets the table, right? It lets the audience know what's coming up. So we wanted just a really fun, big musical number that highlighted the Greens' excitement for a vacation, especially crickets, you know? And then at the time, the second song was going to be Space is Fun, which happens about halfway through the movie. And then every like 20 minutes or so, there was a song. You know, there's kind of a low moment song. There's a song at the end that's you know, the celebration of everything they've done. And Gwendolyn has this delightful villain song. But we realized between the first song and Space is Fun, what was the second song, it's kind of a long chunk of time. And at the kind of the late into production, we were like, oh man, we need another song and we need it to come sooner. Otherwise, when you're hit with that second song, you're like, oh, right, I forgot it was a musical. There's like not enough songs. So we, very late in the game, the assistant director, Ariel Vrazen-Harrell, she boarded this song. It was written by one of our writers, Mike Yank, who was at the time working on a different show. And we pulled him back and we're like, hey, could you help us with this song? And we quickly cobbled together the song, which is Colleen's Rules rap that is like so awesome and so amazing. But that was like such a late addition to the movie, but it's one of the most standout moments of the whole film.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny, Shane, you mentioned something about like when characters are so overwhelmed with emotion, they have to burst into song. Some people, if you believe it or not, some people don't like that. Some people don't like musicals, and those people are not fun people. Musicals are inherently so fun. And I think the world of Big City Greens is so bonkers that the fact that everyone can just break into song makes perfect sense to me. I think it works
Great.
just so well.
Yeah, I don't want to know anyone who doesn't enjoy musicals.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to live in the world of Gary, Indiana, like Music Man. You know, it's like that is so, yes, it is such a kind of a weird vibe sometimes to a musical, but it's so heightened. It's such a heightened reality. And that's how we think about our stories and the comedy in Big City Greens. So yeah, it's just been so fun having more songs, and we hope to do more songs in the series.
Fingers crossed. And you're both involved in a lot of other things as well, from illustrating for The Simpsons and Adventure Time, or storyboarding for Gravity Falls, and so much more. You're both very busy. How has working in so many different roles and on so many different IPs influenced Big City Greens? You know, have you taken anything away from these other projects and incorporated anything into Big City Greens, either directly on screen or behind the scenes in the production process?
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of what you listed, all those credits that we have, a lot of that was done before Big City Greens, and it was great training to become a showrunner, because a showrunner's job is kind of a jack of all trades. You need to know a little bit about a lot of stuff, and you need to be able to direct a lot of very like highly specialized people who are like the top of the game at what they do, but you need to provide them with some direction on like where to go for what's right for this show. So, I worked in reality TV as an editor for years and learned a lot about editing. I went to film school. Chris went to art school, drew comics. We were both like writing our own comic. We had a lot of like writing and storytelling experience spread out amongst all these jobs. And at every job, you kind of learn a little something of like even the politics of working with people or collaborating with others or dealing with executives, or how to take notes, how to give notes. And so all of those projects, it was great training. And it was so cool to work on things like Chris did a bunch of Adventure Time covers. I wrote for Peanuts, like Charles Schultz Peanuts comics, and it was like that was a dream come true. But it was so great to learn all the lessons of like, okay, well, Charlie Brown can do this, but he can't do this, and I had to kind of. I was pitching new stories, but had to learn a lot of lessons. And now we're on the other side of that, where new writers come in and we kind of show them like, this is what's right for Big City Greens or what's not. Chris, what do you think about all the other gigs we've had?
Oh yeah, I totally agree. It was a great training ground. I think every job I had before becoming a showrunner was only beneficial, whether it was a good job or a job I didn't particularly enjoy. It was all really helpful because and you kind of mentioned something about this. Like I think on every job, I was learning something about the creative work, character-driven comedy or storytelling, or something about one of the crafts. This is where you put your camera. This is a better way to shoot this. But then I was also learning about the production and how do you talk to people? How do you work with people? How do you deliver criticism and not hurt someone's feelings? Because we all need to keep moving forward and bringing our best selves to the work. And I think if you're approaching any job with the mindset of like, okay, I'm going to learn from this, good, bad, or ugly, I'm going to learn from this, then you really will. I think like you can learn just as much from a bad boss as you can from a good boss. And Shane and I were just trying to soak up as much knowledge and experience as we could, because once we got the show, it's like, okay, and go. You now have to oversee all these different disciplines. You need to work with money people and make sure like the show is delivered on time and under budget. And you may not be the best painter, but you need to be able to talk to painters, and you need to talk to editors and directors and actors and executives. And so, yeah, I'm so glad we had all that training. And despite the training, day one of show running, we still felt like we knew absolutely nothing.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah. And 8 years in, we know a little bit.
I know, like just a teeny bit more, it feels like. But I mean, the thing is, we've been doing Big City Greens for the past 8 years. So not that it's like, oh, we haven't done, it's like it's been so many seasons, a movie, we help with all the shorts, like it's a massive amount of work. But all those smaller gigs definitely have led to this.
Well, and then earlier this year, you signed a new multi-year deal with Disney branded television. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What
You,
further
thank you.
opportunities does this open up for you? And what are you looking forward to doing through this new partnership?
Yeah. Well, clearly, we don't have enough to do, so we needed more. And honestly, we're thrilled. We are so excited to sign this new deal. All the folks at Disney Branded Television, they heard us when we were like, we want to figure out what we want to do next. The movie was so creatively satisfying and invigorating. Like, it got us really excited because it was a new challenge to take on. So we were curious to find out, like, what's our next challenge? So Meredith Roberts, the head of the TV animation studio, she, I feel like, challenged us with, like, I'm going to give you a bunch of opportunities and see what you guys can excel with. So it's really everything that like Disney TV has to offer. They've kind of opened the doors to us and said, what do you want to do? Which is just so cool. And we are so grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, I think like taking on the movie and running an entire movie production and movie crew while simultaneously running an entire series crew and series production. It was an immense challenge and something we had never done before. It stretched on for 3 years of this double dipping. And meanwhile, Shane and I were also helping oversee TVA's multi-platform department that does all the Big City Greens shorts. And we would do, NHL Big City Greens games. And so we were taking on a lot. And a couple things happened from that. Like, one, we were really excited about the challenge of it all. And I think we're both slightly excited by that feeling of like, can we pull this off? Can we do this? And I think we also learned that we really like working with people. We really like building teams. We really like trying to put the people on our teams in the right positions so that everyone is playing to their strengths. And if you do that correctly, beautiful things happen. It's really cool to watch a bunch of talented people come together. And if you can structure everything correctly, the goal is everyone's energy is going into the project. It's not going off into all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of ways to waste energy and waste people's time. And if you can avoid doing that, amazing things can happen. And so that's what really excites me about, taking on more projects and trying to start some new stuff. But yeah, it's very exciting, and we'll see where these projects land.
Well, I'm excited to see where you take Big City Greens from here, and also all the other things you've got cooking up with Disney. So thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedules to speak with me.
Our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And on a personal note, I do have to say hockey is the only sport I watch, so I loved the tie-ins with the NHL. They were so fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. That's great. They're so fun to do. We did 2 of them. We hope to do more. They've been really fun. It's fun to I get to voice cricket, so it's fun to voice cricket live. That's
Yeah.
there's not a lot of live animation.
Mhm.
And so it's been really a fun thing for all of us to do and for the cast to do. So yeah, we hope to do more.
Well, thank you again for your time.
Thank you.